Book of Enoch, chapter 1, verse 14. The book of the words of righteousness, and the reprimand of the eternal watchers, in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I will now say with tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to men to converse therein and understand with the heart. And he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom. So hath he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. And I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you, and from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity. And in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all days of the world. And that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and ye shall have no pleasure in them, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision has shown to me thus: behold, in the vision clouds invited me and mist summoned me, and the course of the stars and the lightning sped and hastened to me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly, and lifted me upward, and bore me into heaven. And I went in until I drew nigh to a wall which was built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire, and he began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to the large house which was built of crystals. And the walls of the house were like a tesselated floor, made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim. And that was their heaven, was clear water. A flaming fire surrounding the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling got hold upon me. And I also quaked and trembled, and I fell upon my face. And I beheld a vision, and lo, there was a second house, greater than the former. And the entire portal stood open before me, and it was built of flames of fire. And in every respect it so excelled in splendor and magnificence, an extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. Its floor was of fire, and above it were lightning and the path of the stars, and the ceiling also was flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystals, and the wheeling therefore of the shining stars, and there was a vision of cherubim. And from underneath the throne came steams of flaming fire, so that I could not look therein. And the great glory sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and it was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter it, and could behold his face by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was around him, and a great fire stood before him, and none could draw nigh him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, yet he needed no counselor. And all the most holy ones who were nigh to him did not leave by night, nor depart from him. And until then I had been prostrate on my face, trembling. And the Lord called me with his own mouth, and said, Come hither, Enoch, and hear my word. And one of the holy ones came to me, and waked me, and he made me rise up, and approach the door, and I bowed my face downwards.